As the days stretched on, the search for Nancy Guthrie became a precise yet relentless orchestration of manpower, technology, and human intuition, with law enforcement teams fanning out across neighborhoods, desert canyons, and forgotten trails in an effort to reconstruct every possible path the masked figure could have taken, while aerial drones scanned areas unreachable on foot and canine units traced faint, nearly imperceptible scents, all under the watchful eyes of analysts who cross-referenced every tip, surveillance clip, and past incident for patterns that might reveal a breakthrough. And at the center of this methodical operation remained the black glove, an object seemingly simple yet laden with potential significance, scrutinized for fingerprints, fibers, and microscopic traces that could link the masked individual to Nancy's disappearance. Each test painstakingly documented, debated, and verified as investigators balanced the need for rapid progress with the rigorous caution that ensures evidence remains admissible and credible. And while the scientific and operational layers unfolded, the human element, Nancy's family, watched every move with a mixture of hope and dread, aware that each new lead carried the possibility of relief or heartbreak. The community around the Catalina foothills, along with viewers across the country following the story, became participants in the investigation in their own right, submitting tips, revisiting their own neighborhoods, and analyzing publicly released surveillance footage for clues, creating a dynamic feedback loop where human vigilance complemented law enforcement efforts, yet simultaneously required careful filtering to separate credible information from speculation, a process that demanded both analytical skill and patience, and highlighted the tension between public interest and operational integrity as investigators moved carefully to protect the investigation while keeping the search visible enough to encourage continued cooperation, because in cases like this, a single overlooked detail, a missed sighting, or a misinterpreted signal could mean the difference between resolution and continued uncertainty. Every piece of evidence, from the black glove to fleeting video frames, was treated as potentially pivotal, with forensic labs running continuous analyses to uncover DNA traces, latent prints, or environmental residues that might reveal where Nancy had been or who had interacted with her, and as results trickled in, each finding required cross-verification, interpretation by behavioral analysts, and coordination across multiple agencies, a multi-dimensional effort that illustrated the extraordinary complexity of real-time investigations, where science, strategy, and instinct converge, and where even a seemingly small lead could dramatically alter the course of the search, bringing investigators one step closer to resolving the agonizing unknowns surrounding Nancy's disappearance. The emotional intensity remained a constant undercurrent as Nancy's family shared updates, engaged the public, and kept her story in the spotlight, a dual role of advocacy and patience that required them to navigate hope, fear, and public attention simultaneously, while investigators maintained a careful rhythm, balancing the immediate need to act on leads with long-term strategic planning. And every night of tireless searching, every careful lab analysis, and every neighborhood canvas added layers to the story, underscoring the stark reality that missing person cases are rarely linear, simple, or predictable, and that success often depends on the convergence of evidence, timing, and persistence, alongside the unwavering dedication of those determined to find the missing person. Amid this blend of science, determination, and human emotion, the central question persisted like a quiet drumbeat throughout the investigation. Could the black glove, the surveillance footage, the tips from the public, and the tireless work of investigators finally come together to provide a breakthrough that would reveal Nancy Guthrie's location and ensure her safe return, transforming fear, uncertainty, and grief into clarity, resolution, and relief? Or would each clue, each effort, and each painstaking analysis continue to exist as tantalizing fragments of a puzzle still out of reach, leaving the case suspended in tension while hope, determination, and human courage remain the only constant forces driving the search forward? in a story where every detail, no matter how small, carries weight, and every moment of action or inaction could shape the outcome of a family's desperate quest for answers.